And now, in between all the political conversations and educational and whatnot happening across the continent, there's also some other stuff that is trending. And we have world famous Elizabeth Musa joining us to share with us.
I was waiting for the world famous introduction, and you did it. Thank you for that. Good morning, Otarage. Good morning, Olive. Thank you, Olive. Welcome back.
Thank you. Good to be back.
We hear you're going to be performing at the Super Bowl halftime show.
That's amazing.
Who knows? Just watch out for it.
Are you going to be performing alongside Rihanna or as a backup performer or?
Well, we start somewhere, back up.
Please go ahead. What's happening on Trendwave?
All right. Before I go to what is happening on Trendwave, I want to ask both of you, did you attend mixed secondary schools or did you attend the single gender secondary school?
Well, I did both. First mixed, second single gender.
I attended a mixed school all through. Primary,
okay.
Secondary, and obviously university.
Okay, great. Now, students of secondary schools are protesting in the streets of Bauchi, Nigeria over a new policy by the government to separate boys from girls in schools across the state. Now, the Bauchi State Commissioner for Education, Mr. Aliyu Tilde, said the state government has concluded plans to separate male and female students in secondary schools. He explained that the idea was to address the moral decadence, which he said has become prevalent among students of secondary schools. And according to him, private schools would take a cue from the initiative and separate the males who would be attending their academic activities in one institution and the females in another institution. But before we look at how people have reacted to this particular one on social media, let's recall that still this year, the Anambra State government also banned the wearing of miniskirts in both public and private schools in the state in a bid to caution the unacceptable standards among students in the state. But we'll see how people are reacting to this one. Before I come to you, Otarage and Olive, and take your reaction, let's see how people are reacting to this particular trend. Now, that one is from Toby Loba. Toby Loba says, university students, they protest to go back to school. Secondary students, they protest, make them bring back their girls. And there she is, laughing. We'll take a look at some more comment. That one is from Discreet Fun Massage Lagos. That one says, but they are in the school to study. Why are they bothered about the separation? That's a big question from Discreet Fun Massage. Katie Cool goes on to say that this doesn't change anything in my opinion. Definitely they would meet under mango trees or empty buildings. Separating them probably makes it worse. We'll take a look at more comment on this story. That one is from Onyinye. Onyinye says, them don't carry their babes, go where them no. But that is the story coming out of the northern Nigeria, and people are reacting, the students are reacting to the fact that they are going to be separated in their secondary schools. They're going to have like strictly male secondary schools and strictly female secondary schools. When I was in secondary school, I wouldn't have thought that would be an issue. I attended a mixed secondary school, by the way.
Well, having attended both, mixed secondary school, single gender or single sex secondary school, I already know without a shadow of doubt. Now, when I become a parent, I would love for my kids to attend mixed secondary school. The truth is, the single gender secondary schools don't change anything. Whatever wants to happen will still happen. I can say that categorically. However, unfortunately, what you then see is there's some sort of repression that happens. It just feels like, when you shake a can of soda and then you open it up, the way it explodes. A lot of them, they're not socially, there are exceptions, of course, but there are situations where you find that some of them are not socially balanced. Then when they meet the people, the gender of the opposite sex, it's as if, wow, Christmas is here. So I'd rather, but for me, all of this is just the nerve of them to go and protest.
I feel as though...
So, I don't even know why they are protesting. When I have a smirk on my face, I'm going to say something silly. So I'm not even sure why they are protesting, because they can simply identify as women. And,
That's another angle.
Exactly. Well, there's numerous genders across the world today. So you simply decide who you want to identify as. I identify as Shakirat and,
That is not allowed in Nigeria.
That's not
so
allowed
if you identify as female, you are on your own. You will be arrested and you will face the law. It's not allowed in Nigeria. You forgot for a minute,
I'm just thinking about the fact that how is this even on what basis do we have to separate boys and girls?
My issue is not the separation. My issue is the people that went to protest. If you don't like it, you change school. Is this that?
It's not up to them. Don't forget the secondary school.
And they'll tell their parents to change their school.
Well,
please, we have many other pressing issues.
But I agree. I agree. That we probably need to also look deeper, into the reason. Some of all these things are really just people placing their own bits of morality into government, offices and government decisions, and that's really what it is.
All right, let's move on from that.
If we stay on this story, we'll probably go on and on. But let's take you to another trend right here in Nigeria, where a Dubai-based businesswoman identified simply as Olivia has revealed a shocking new trend amongst young women in Dubai. According to a tweet which she made yesterday, she goes on to say that ladies are now locking people's husbands in padlocks and swallowing it so that these men will now go on to send their own wives and children to the street and then bring them in. And then she went on to mention that others are making incisions of their private parts for the same purposes. So a man needs to be faithful to his partner and be prayerful. That is the tweet from Olivia, the Olivia maid. She says, if you see what babes are doing to make men throw their wives and kids out of his house, you go cold. Stay prayed up because it's a jungle out here. And then she went on to say, people are locking people's husbands in padlocks and swallowing it. Men too, if you love your life, stay faithful. And this is quite a shocking revelation, if you ask me. And then she goes on to say, I don't know why I didn't see these things in Nigeria, but all I did was work and go home to my daughter. I didn't socialize much. Now for this country, I see things, babe, they fly for night, yummy, especially if your husband is wealthy, no lose guard. And she's there telling people that, you know what, you have to stay prayed up as a man, and as a, people are doing all sorts of things. But we'll take a look at some of the reactions that have trailed this particular shocking story when it came out on social media. That comment is from Oluwafunmilayo. She says, and if you're not a cheat, these women won't have this much access to you. Stay faithful to your wives and save your marriages from all this rubbish. More reactions on this story. That one is from Justin Casey. Casey says, when I arrived Dubai first time in 2015, the stories I heard, our flat then, what about the Niger babes in UAE were doing to their runs made me lock up my zip and vowed never to have sex in the United Arab Emirates. That one is from Brace for Impact. Brace says, how can you be talking about jazz and saying women should stay disciplined? And that's a question. It says, does promiscuous man need jazz to be held down? What it's trying to say is, do promiscuous men need jazz to be held down? That one is from Purple and Flood. Purple and Flood goes on to say that the point still remains, if you don't give babes access to you as a man, she won't even see you, more or less eating an unborn baby to keep you in her life. This is why it has to be about the man. It starts and ends with the man. We cannot on our watch see young stray women. And that is the particular story on social media at the moment. That's the particular tweet that is gathering eyeballs on social media. I mean, it's quite shocking, especially in this part of the world in Nigeria. Most times, there's this really shocking way people look at you when you mention the fact that you're going to Dubai. I don't know if any of you have noticed it. People talk about the fact that when they hear ladies are going to Dubai, they just start feeling it a type of way. And this particular tweet is kind of confirming it to an extent. And I'm just saying, at the end of the day, people need to, it's not even about the man, it's not about the woman. Everyone needs to be careful. What do you make of this story, Osaroge and Olive?
I'm going to Dubai now. Those of us that, when you think about the flight fare to Dubai, you stay in your country. But that is, I think some of the replies to the tweet have really captured my thoughts. I don't have much to say about that. If you protect yourself, for those who are so keen on this, if you protect yourself and respect your family enough, you don't put yourself in a position where someone can quote unquote use jazz on you.
Right.
Yes, I agree. Someone mentioned it's only promiscuous men that should be worried about things like this. But at the same time, they're talking about black magic, the same thing Pogba is alleged to have used. But I would also say men continue to be the prize. Whether
Unfortunately,
you
that's what
might
we're making
like it or not, but men continue to be the prize. Last week we spoke about 3,000 naira, in the church. I remember that story where people were praying, or the pastor was asking them to bring 3,000 naira.
I completely remember that.
Husbands.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, exactly. So men continue to be the prize, and sadly, it might just be in very, very dark
We
ways.
need to mention real quick that this is not the narrative that we want to push about Nigeria, women in Dubai or Africa. This is not the narrative that we want. There are hard-working women who are doing well
Absolutely.
and who are not
Absolutely.
embarrassing themselves. There are men who are also not embarrassing themselves and their families as well. So we're rooting for those ones, and these other ones,
Completely rooting for them.
karma would come to
Absolutely.
you, really. Thank you so much for joining us, Liz.